Okay, welcome everybody. You made it. You're here. Yay. I think that deserves some celebration. You're here for the Learning and Development Roundtable on work-life balance and integration. A couple of logistical things. Just put this in the notes here. If you are a UN staff and you want this to count towards your UN professional development, just make sure that your screen name matches your name, because that's how we match you up. And also, if you want to add closed captioning, you have about 35 different languages to choose from. So feel free to pick the language that you want to close caption in. And it doesn't have to be the same. Everyone can have a different one. Okay, so a couple of little logistics there. My name's Leanne Reagan, and I'm so delighted that you're here for tips and tools to increase your work-life balance and integration. So, just to acknowledge your context, our context, I always say that it feels like gravity is going to stop working tomorrow or even today. Things seem so upside down. So if you are overwhelmed with what's going on in the world, maybe the very core of your work is being questioned. Maybe there's some job changes, some staff changes. Maybe your world is completely upside down, and the so-called balance might seem out of reach, unattainable. Know that I have you. I've got your back. So today we're going to really look at that kind of elusive myth of work-life balance, and that pressure, 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 pressure. So we're going to put that to rest. And also, no, I'm not making all this stuff up. It's all research based, and you get access to all of those resources. And I'll let you know how to get access to them in a bit. I'll teach you a really simple tool to help to get to know yourself better so that you can work with yourself instead of against yourself. And also another simple tool I'll teach you, and hint, it has to do with your neighbors, not. So watch out for that tool. And then also you'll get to make a customized map for yourself so you know where to best guide your focus, because I know you've got lots and lots on your plate right now. Again, if you are a UN staff person, this counts towards your UN professional development. So I'll let you know how you can make that count later on. And also you get access to all the 12 plus years of learning and development roundtable resources. So I started this roundtable more than 12 years ago. You automatically became a member when you signed up for today. So you'll get access to all these resources. Okay, just a couple of logistics because I really want to make sure that this time is as helpful and as useful and supportive for you as possible. So I encourage you to give yourself the gift of presence. I know that you have lots of things pulling on your focus. So if you find your attention drifting, I'm just going to recommend that you shh that little voice. So if you've got that little voice, that thing on your shoulder saying, "Oh, I got to do this," or "I got to do that," or "My attention's over here," or "It's pulled over here," just shh that little voice. So I'd love to hear you do that right now. So feel free, everybody unmute, 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 and let's just turn away, turn off the outside world just for a moment. We're going to shush all of those to-dos, all of those things that might be pulling on your focus. So feel free to unmute everyone. On the count of three, feel free to give a big shush to all of those things that are other things that are pulling on your focus. Okay, here we go. One, two, three. Shh.
Give a big laugh.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, again, feel free to shush those voices if and when they come up anytime that we're working together today. Okay, a couple of other things before we dive in. If you'd like to see what other kinds of workshops that I deliver, because the roundtable is just one, pardon me, you can click on my workshop catalog. I've just put that link in the chat there. I work with teams on helping them work better together. So lots of conflict resolution, change management, creativity, all sorts of things, team building. I also do a lot of work around tech tools and then training of trainers. Okay, a couple of housekeeping things. You are amazing rock stars. You have so much wisdom. You have so many skills. So please participate. Feel free to share your questions, your comments in the chat, share resources, things that have worked for you. I'd really love to see that chat as active as possible. Also, you don't have to wait until the next Learning and Development Roundtable. We hold them once a month. But there is a Learning and Development Facebook group, Learning and Development Roundtable, rather, Facebook group, and at members' request, a Learning and Development Roundtable LinkedIn group. So feel free to join one or both of those if that's of interest and keep in touch. Also, as I mentioned, you automatically became a member when you signed up for this roundtable. But if you're finding value in our time together, please share that link to one or two other colleagues or friends. I would really love to continue to grow our community. Oh, you're so welcome, Answas. My pleasure. By the way, if I happen to say your name and I mispronounce it, please send me a DM or just put the phonetic pronunciation in the chat. I want to make sure I'm getting pronunciation right. Okay. And also members gave me the feedback. You'll get access to all the resources, but those will go out early next week, usually on Monday. And members said, "Oh, Leanne, that's great, but we wanted to get things faster." So my team and I have a way where you'll get this PowerPoint deck in your inbox the second that this roundtable ends. So you'll get that right away, and then everything else will come to you early next week. Oh, thanks, Answas. Okay. Okay, just a couple of other things before we dive in. I'm teaching a public speaking workshop for UN staff. It's on June the 18th and June the 19th. So if you are UN staff and you're interested, please contact you on HR Learning and you can find out more about that. Okay, and then finally, I really support your present self being here, and I really want to support your future self. So, as a way of being kind to your future self, please feel free to use this tool. I alternate these tools in the different roundtables, but this one is my Quite worksheet. And it's a way to kind of help you remember what you're learning. So it's a way to be kind to your future self and help you apply and take charge and be really proactive with your learning. So if you want to use that worksheet, just click on the link. And once you download it, it becomes editable. Every roundtable, I always get one or two folks asking me for editing permission for the document. You don't need editing permission. You just need to download it and then you'll be able. Any questions so far? Because I'll have a question for you in just a second, but any questions before we dive in? Otherwise, feel free to give me a thumbs up if you're ready to start with our content, our work-life balance and integration content. Okay, great. Okay, so I have a question for you. So there's no, this is all done anonymously. So please think about your current work-life balance. So not including sleep time, what percentage of time is taken up by work and by life? And you'll see that I put a link in the chat. So I'm just going to bring us over to that worksheet because I've got a fun little surprise for you here. Okay, so let me know in the chat. Can you see this Google worksheet? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can see people coming in. Can you see it on your screen? Great. Okay. Okay. So this is not a scientific, don't get too hung up on the percentages. But in column A, oh, good, someone's doing it. This is great. So in column A, put the percentage of time in general that you devote to work. And then on the same row in column D, put the percentage of time that you devote to life. And those two numbers should add up to 100. And you'll see I've made this, this spreadsheet able to calculate kind of in bar graphs there. So that's great. Okay, so we've got 80-20, so 80% work, 20% life. We've got 45% work, 55% life. We've got 55-45, we've got 70-30, we've got what looks like a 40-60. Oh, this is great. Okay. Someone put 70 on row 8, so you may want to fill in your 30 on column D. Yeah, so this is kind of a visual representation of currently the role that work is playing in life. So feel free to continue to fill that in. You'll notice columns B and C are protected, so you can't, I've got formulas in there, so these will just automatically add up, but you can always, you have editing access to columns A and D. Okay, so I'm going to bring us back to the deck, but let me know in the chat, did you notice anything particular? Anything particular that you noticed by that? Okay. Oh, Mary Jo, good question. Should we take into account days off and weekends? It's completely up to you. So this is your tool to use as you wish. Okay, we've got a few more people coming in. Great. But yeah, great question there. So okay, so Anne said before I left my last job, it was more 60-40. Okay. Yeah, so and also this is a moment in time, it could really change depending on what's happening in your personal life, depending on what's happening at work. I encourage you to reflect on if this is the current state that the role that work is playing in your life, what would you like it to be like? And is there a difference? And if so, how big is that difference? Okay, and you can always come back to that worksheet and play around with that. That will be yours for the taking. Okay. Oh, and saying I'm missing work. Oh, okay, so you are off work right now. Okay, I think that's what you meant there. Okay. Yeah, and people are in different seasons and different chapters. You may have a lot of control over this ratio, and you may have very little control. Okay, would you like to look at the elusive myth that we want to put to bed in terms of work-life balance? Are you ready to move ahead? Let me know. Just give me a thumbs up. By the way, if future you is watching this video, all the resource links will be down below. Okay, great. Okay, so let's get into this elusive myth of work-life balance. What I would like you to do is please grab a pen or a pencil or anything like a ruler or anything like that. So if you can grab that, and if you're comfortable, please put your video on. So if you're comfortable, put your cameras on. I'm going to see those beautiful faces for a moment. We'll just have them on for just a minute. So, hi, Mary Jo. Hi, Anne. Oh, what a beautiful screensaver. Looks very Japanese. Hi, Lily. Okay, so for those of you who are able, feel free to put your cameras on and then grab that, that pen or that pencil and see if you can balance it. All right, so see if you can put it on a finger and without holding it, see if you can get it to balance. Okay. Oh, there's a message coming in here. Let me just see. Answas is having issues with connectivity. I feel for you. Just do your best. Hi, Takashi. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Okay. Yeah, just do your best with the connectivity. So yeah, feel free to try to balance that. Oops, so mine just fell. And imagine that I'm sitting beside you and you're trying to balance that pen and I knock your arm, right? I bump into you just gently. So as I bring us back to the deck, what would happen if you did reach that balance, but I came by and knocked your arm there? What would happen? Let me know in the chat. Oops. Yeah, exactly, Lily, right? The pen would fall, right? So that idea of that perfect balance, that 50-50, it's actually not very resilient, right? It's not very strong. Yeah, and Anne's saying I have to concentrate a lot more. So if I came and I was nudging your arm, you'd have to concentrate really hard to get that thing to balance. So I would really encourage you to think about not so much balancing, but integrating, right? And to do what works for you. So, can I invite you to take this work-life balance and integration pledge? So I'm going to invite you to be thinking of this core concept of really integrating your work and life in a way that fits for you. And feel free to unmute and repeat after me. So feel free to unmute. And by the way, folks in the past have asked, you'll get a copy of this slide, of this deck at the end of the workshop, and people have printed off this pledge, I know, and put it on their desk. So feel free to do that. Okay, so everybody unmute, unmute, please. Okay, and feel free to repeat after me. I pledge to put the myth
With my myth.
work-life balance to bed for good.
Work-life
A perfect work-life balance to bed for good.
doing
Nice.
what's best for me and my circumstances.
I commit to doing what's best for me and my circumstances.
Commit to doing what's best for me and my circumstances,
Including myself, my family, my team, my organization, and my community.
including myself, my team, my organization, and my community.
I pledge to not bow to other people's pressure
I pledge to not bow to other people's pressure
and get caught up in unhelpful comparisons.
and get caught up in
unhelpful
comparisons.
Nice. Okay, everyone feel free to mute again. Let me know in the chat. So the pace of everyone talking wasn't perfectly synchronized. And I do that on purpose because that's that notion of integration, right? You're going to go at your own pace and make it really fit you. And by the way, I love Clarissa's comment that about if I was knocking, bumping someone's elbow, you might be able to save it for some time, but moving around, being flexible until you reach a point where it isn't possible anymore. Yeah, so that's that notion of bending ourselves into a pretzel, right? And by the way, one time when I was teaching this workshop, we had a really great conversation about comparisons, and I put that word unhelpful in there because it is good to have a sense of where do we stand in community? Where do we stand in our organization? Where do we stand with regards to our team? But oftentimes those comparisons can be unhelpful as well. Lean says, not to bow to others' pressure. I need a dedicated training on this. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, hopefully some of these tools will help you. And again, if I'm mispronouncing anyone's name, just send me a DM and let me know in the chat the phonetic pronunciation. Okay. So to continue with this sort of myth, I'm going to play a sound clip. And please, it's not going to seem like it, but it's one word. So please try to write this word down in the chat. Okay, so it's one word, and see if you can write this word down in the chat. Here we go.
We call this mobstocking, herbivorous herbivorous, solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization.
Okay, just to confirm, can everyone hear it? Okay. Just give me a thumbs up.
Not very well. Can you put it more loud if you can?
Sure. Thank you for asking. Yeah, let me turn up the volume here. Oh. Okay. Let me just hang on, folks. Let me just check something here. Thank you so much for, oh no, it is. Okay. For some reason, it seems to be as loud as it can go. But whoops, hang on, sorry, folks. Okay, so I'm going to be really quiet. Feel free to turn it up on your end, and I'll play it a couple of times. So the notion is here to see if you can write this word down in the chat. Here we go.
We call this Mobstocking, herbivorous, solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization.
Yeah, I'll play it again.
We call this Mobstocking, herbivorous, solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization.
And I've never had anybody, I use this exercise in different workshops. I've never had anyone do an acronym. I love that. That's so good. Okay, so try to do your best in terms of writing out that word in the chat.
We call this Mobstocking, herbivorous, solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization.
Lily's saying it's impossible. I know I've given you a hard task. Okay, I'll play it once more. Oh, good. Eliza, good for you. Okay, great. Okay, Mary Jo says, I hear a sentence, not a word. Yeah, it's actually a word, believe it or not. Here we go. Last time.
We call this Mobstocking, herbivorous, solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization.
Okay, nice job, Eliza. Okay, I'm not trying to torture you. The reason why I play this is because, oh, good job, Lily. Nice, 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 nice. Eliza's saying some of those words may be made up. It's actually from a CBC. So I'm Canadian. I live in Nairobi, but I'm Canadian. It's from a CBC radio broadcasting from like years ago. It's actually like a farming technique. But why on earth am I playing it for you? It's because you're focusing on sense making, right? And this notion of trying to make sense of things. The work-life integration has to fit you, right? It has to make sense for you. Nice job, Mara. Good job. So make sure as we go through these tips and these tools and these techniques and the research, make sure that you are sense making for you. Because sense making is exhausting, right? The drive to explain the world is actually a human need, right? We as humans will work very hard to make sense of things. We don't like it when things don't make sense. And that can lead to delight and discovery, and it can also lead to disaster and discomfort, right? We're not great at not knowing, right? You can actually measure your tolerance for not knowing, your tolerance for ambiguity. So be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself as you go about busting that myth of things have to be perfect, right? And we talked about that notion of trying to balance that pen is actually not very strong, right? It's just going to take a little tap, and that balance is not there. So we want to talk about work-life integration, and you've got that pledge and that notion of sense making. Okay, are you ready to learn a tool about knowing yourself a little bit more? Or don't let me rush you. If you have a question, just let me know in the chat or any resources to add. So give me a thumbs up if you want to move ahead, or if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, great. I see some thumbs up. Okay, now some of you, if you've been to other roundtables, might be familiar with this tool because it's one of my favorite tools I've ever created. I use it a lot, but it's super helpful when it comes to work-life balance and or work-life integration rather. And that's that notion of knowing yourself, right? If you know yourself, you can work with your tendencies, your inclinations, as opposed to against them. And one way to know yourself is to know what motivates you, right? So which way do you lean, right? What makes you lean in and be really motivated, and what makes you back away and like, oh, no, 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 I don't want to go there. So I'm going to imagine, let me know in the chat, have you been to a previous roundtable where we've talked about the motivation styles? So they're motivation styles too? Okay. Okay. So they're, okay. Seems like they're new to everyone. Okay, great. So I want you to imagine that there is a paper bag in front of you. And there's something on the bottom of this paper bag. And your task is to make a decision about how are you going to decide whether to look underneath this bag. And by the way, the thing that's underneath this bag is not scary. It's not dangerous. It can't hurt you. Okay. So your task is to decide how are you going to look under this bag. So there's 6 different ways. And please put the number in the chat of the method that speaks the loudest to you. It's like, yes, I would likely use that method. So number 1, would you be a leader and help your group decide whether to look under the bag or not? That would be kind of your automatic go-to, is to take a leadership role. Or, and sorry, I should have said that you're in a group, right? There's a number of people around you deciding whether to look under this bag. Or number 2, would you talk to your group about whether to look under that bag or not? Number 3, would you decide for yourself? You'd make your own decision. Number 4, would you imagine talking to your future self? Like you'd sort of consult, you'd think about the implications for the future. You'd be future oriented. Or number 6, would you like, okay, I have to achieve my goal. It's important to me to make the right decision and achieve my goal. So I'll give you a link to a survey that you can take. That'll give you a little bit more insight, but this is just sort of a quick, easy way to find your motivation style. So Lily says 2, and Swaz says 2, then 5. Okay, so 2 is group and 5 is, I forgot 5, consult the internet. So you do some research. Okay, we've got, we got a bunch of 2s. Okay. Oh, Emmanuel's saying 2 if it's about the family, 4 if it's about me only. Oh, I love that distinction. That's so good. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 2 and 6. So notice how everybody's different, right? Everyone kind of leans in to these styles differently. By the way, this is from National Geographic research that I did, research from the National Geographic. Okay, so so remember your number or your numbers. Would you like to discover what your motivation style is based on your number? Do you want me to? We'll unveil it. Okay, and again, you can take the survey later on if you wish and dig into this a bit deeper. So here you go. Okay, so if you pick number 1, be a leader, that is power, right? That's power. So, and by the way, each of these styles has their good day and their bad day, right? Their strengths and their weaknesses, which I'll show you in a minute. So if you want to be a leader, then power probably tends to motivate you. If you said number 2, talk to your group, that's affiliation, right? So you are motivated by being in a group, right? By being around other people. If you said 3, decide for yourself, that's autonomy, right? You want to do things on your own, right? If you said 4, imagine asking your future self, that's the future. That's you are motivated by how would this impact the future? Number 5, consult the internet. That's external, right? So you're motivated by something outside of yourself. It could be your religious leader, it could be your team, it could be what's happening in your community, but it's something outside of you. Okay, and then if you said achieve your goal, then you are achievement oriented. You want to get that thing, get that goal achieved, crossed off, etc. So here is the survey that you can take, and also there's a worksheet there that you can help you look at different ways to motivate you based on your style, right? So this is the tool that will help you work with yourself. For example, if you are trying to motivate yourself by autonomy, working on your own, but you're really motivated by affiliation, then you can switch gears, right? And things become so much easier, especially for work-life integration. So here's a little bit more information about those styles. So achievement on a good day gets things done, achieves those goals. On a bad day, too focused on the outcome, people can burn out, and they may not listen to input because they're so focused on achieving that goal. Okay. People motivated by power on a good day, they're great leaders. They like to be in charge. They'll take those reins. On a bad day, of course, there can be abuse of power and mismatched leadership style. So not allowing input from other people and those kinds of things. Affiliation on a good day, very social, team player. They'll know when people's birthdays are. They'll recognize milestones, things like that automatically. On a bad day, too focused on socializing when there's work to be done, and potentially not including other people, right? People can socialize in cliques. People who are motivated by autonomy, they're very independent and self-directed. Just leave me alone, I'll put my head down and I'll get it done. On a bad day, they can disregard other people's input, and maybe they're focused on the wrong goal because they're not collaborating. They haven't realized that the team's decided to go in a different direction. People motivated external, they care about what their supervisor, their team, their leaders, their elders, their religious leaders, their family, their community, etc. What those people think and feel. On a bad day, they can be focused on superficial external things like, oh, I'm not going to hang out with Anushka. Did you see what she's wearing? Like, or Doug, like, oh, that car he drives is just horrible, right? So very external, but very superficial. And then future. So these folks tend to focus on their issues of choice. So gender-based violence, climate change, slum upgrading, whatever the issues are important to them. And they really hold a long-term vision. The downside, on a bad day, people focused on the future can get discouraged because they're not seeing results. So the results can take a long time to manifest, and they might be working too hard and burn out. Okay, let's bring you back to here. Let me know, are any questions about those styles? You've got the survey that you can take on your own time. That will go into the workbook, which you'll get on Monday. And there's also a worksheet that can help you figure out how to motivate yourself based on your style. I shared those links. But any questions before we move on? And if you're ready to move on, then just give me a thumbs up. There's no questions. Emmanuel, how do you link motivation and work-life balance? Oh, that's a great question, Emmanuel. Oh, super, super great. So the idea here is to work with your style. So if you are, let's just say affiliation, and you're really trying to integrate your work-life integration there, make sure that you've got lots of affiliation. Make sure that you're not spending too much time on your own, right? Both in your personal life and in your professional life. If you are motivated by power, Make sure that you are taking leadership roles in your personal life and in your professional life. That will help with that overall sense of integration, that overall sense of satisfaction, well-being, healthiness, etc. Let me know if that makes sense or if you need some other examples. You're welcome. I'm so glad you asked that, Emmanuel. Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments or resources to share before we move on? And again, if you're ready to move on, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay, I see a couple of thumbs up there. Okay, so let's go on to another skill to help you decrease your stress and increase your well-being. So this is this notion of keeping up. So has anyone ever felt, have you ever felt the pressure to keep up? Let me know in the chat there. Have you ever felt, you've got that external pressure? It might be your team members, it might be your supervisor, might be your siblings, your parents, your community. Have you felt that like, I am not doing enough, I'm not enough, I'm not getting enough accomplished, there's not enough time in the day, I'm just not enough, I'm not keeping up. Yeah, so Clarissa, Takashi, Lily, and so certainly and constantly. Mary Jo, in a previous job, all the time. Oh, Myra, 100%. Manuel, yes, every day. Main example, overswamped by email inbox, requests by colleagues, juggling with all reports to be written, revised. I feel you. Nicole, do more with less time, resource, energy. Yeah. This is making me think. I'm reading this book. I don't have it with me, but I'm thinking of doing a roundtable on it. Yeah, because it's dealing with some of these issues here too. Okay, so would you like some gentle suggestions, some gentle research-based tools to help you with those challenges? Would that be helpful? Just give me a thumbs up with this notion of keeping up. That's what, yes, please. Okay. Okay, so, and again, stay in the driver's seat, pick the tools, pick the research bits that fit you the most, that speak to you the loudest. As I was saying, make miracles with little guidance and no safety net. Oh, yeah. I will gently remind you, make sure you take a look at that motivation piece, because wow, that can really help decrease stress and really increase your sense of well-being for these challenges, because I know they're real. They're very, very real. Okay, so to sort of when keeping up turns into pressure, and this isn't healthy, and I'm not doing enough, I'm not, you just feel like you're spinning your wheels. So if you're in that sense of keeping up, think about your kinds of time. So can you, and I know that some of you will have a lot of control over your schedule and some people will have very little. So do what works for you, etc. But one piece of research here is to look at your kinds of time. And can you divide your time into periods where it's deep thinking, I'm concentrating, I'm planning, I'm designing, and I'm not going to be interrupted. I've arranged myself so I'm not going to be interrupted. Some of the research shows, particularly if you're trying to be creative, that if you're in a place with higher ceilings, and that includes outdoors, right, where there's no ceilings, you're more creative, or as a colleague of mine does, a friend of mine does, she has a particular chair. So when she needs really deep thinking time, she sits in a particular chair. So that really sort of trains her brain and her body. Okay, I'm going to settle in, really going to focus. Can you plan your time where you know there's going to be mindless, kind of repetitive tasks? Can you arrange your time for social time when you know there's time for meetings, mentoring, supervising, giving feedback, etc.? Can you block off your time in terms of planned time and unplanned time? Right? My timekeeping really, like how I organize my workdays, really changed when I left an hour a day for, I just know something's going to come up, right? If I plan my whole day and there's no give in my day, I ended up ending my days feeling frustrated and like there just wasn't enough time. But if I planned for unplanned time, now again, this is really going to change depending on called catching the ripple to avoid the wave. And what does this mean? It means, are there little things that you can do that would help things continue to move forward and prevent a tsunami? Right? So are there little things, they're not going to take much time, but that will really help. Is there someone who's asked you a question? If you answer that question, then they can keep moving forward. So where can you catch the ripple to avoid the wave? Also, this is really, really, really important here. Oh, I think this is a little hard for you to see. So this notion here of, sorry, folks, I just realized you can't see it. This notion, have you seen this grid before? It's attributed to Eisenhower. And this difference between important and not important, and urgent and not urgent. So oftentimes our most impactful, by the way, I'm going to annotate the screen. And when I do that, my camera goes off. I don't know why. The hardest quadrant to get into is this one here, right? So things that are not urgent, but they're really important. That is the quadrant that we tend to leave out, right? We tend to not spend enough time there. So are you spending some time working on really important things that aren't urgent, right? So think about that. Another tip is to go to MIT, right? MIT, you might know, is what's it called? The Massachusetts Institute for Technology. It's a very fancy school. But maybe you start your day thinking about what is my MIT, right? My most important task, right? So if I get this thing done today, I'm going to have a sense of, my day will have been well spent. And then you can add your motivation style to that task. And then ideally, you're also looking at your energy, right? So you're doing that task when your energy is highest. For some people, that's in the morning. For some people, that's in the evening or in the afternoon. Okay, I've got a couple more but if you have any questions at any time, just pop them into the chat. So let's just go backwards quickly here before we go forward. So we've got these different kinds of time. Are you mapping out your day? Can you incorporate some of this planning for incorporating different kinds of time? Are you thinking about these little things that you can do to that ripple before it turns into a giant wave and drowns people? So what are those little things you can do to keep things moving forward? And then are you incorporating, if I asked you to put your percentage of time that you're spending in each of these quadrants, you might want to do this exercise on your own. A lot of people, when I do these longer workshops, I'll get people to put their percentages here. They're spending time on tasks that are urgent, but not important. Right? So overall, it's not a great use of our time. And then the last one I talked about was, can you identify your most important task for the day and really focus and make sure that gets done? Okay, another one is meetings. I'll just give you two more. You know, most of us, can't hide from them. They're a reality of life. I took this photo of this little cub in midday on safari, hiding from the sun in the shade, right? So most of us can't avoid meetings. And I like this piece of research talks about an effective meeting online or in person is like a good 3-course meal. It has an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. This is from a book called Remote Inc. So what role are meetings playing in your life, and do you need to do any work around that? That's a big one. Okay, and then another core piece around this idea of keeping up is to plan for sprints. So has anyone heard of sprints? Like when we're talking workflow. Anybody heard of sprints? This can be a really great way to focus on your work-life integration. Okay. Okay, so far, okay, so Paul has, okay. Most people haven't. So a sprint, and I'm not a betting person. Sprints as an agile, Mary Jo, a little bit different, I think. I can almost guarantee that 100% of you have done a sprint. A sprint is when you know you're going to be working extra long hours. You've got to get this report done, or you've got, there's something that is due on the horizon that is meaning that you really need to put in extra hours. Now, given our world of work, sometimes people feel like they're sprinting all the time. Like I've had that comment before in this content. But ideally, if you know you have a sprint coming up, you can plan for it, right? And that planning will look different based on your context, but it might be getting a week of meals in the freezer, like planning ahead, making sure all your laundry is done for the week ahead or the couple weeks ahead, or doing something that will help you with that work-life integration and help you feel that you're keeping up in a healthy way. So does anyone have an example of what you could do for a sprint? Putting this in the chat. So any examples of what you could do to prepare for a sprint? So I've mentioned making sure your meals are sorted, making sure all your laundry's done so you don't have to be doing laundry in the middle of a sprint. Some people, it might be daycare. If you have children and you're working. Lily's saying, I do the laundry every Saturday and Sunday. I do ironing. Meanwhile, my husband does the cooking for the whole week. Nice. Yeah, so maybe, Lily, if you knew you had a sprint come up, maybe your husband would do the laundry that week, right? If you knew you were really going to have long days. Emmanuel saying, put the kids early to bed so you start the work evening as early as possible. Yeah, exactly. So you've got some time with the kids, but you still have your work day. You've still got to focus on work. So you're going to put them to bed a little bit earlier than usual. Eliza saying, give heads up to social circle that you'll be unavailable for a while. Yeah, and if you are motivated by affiliation, you might also ask them to help you, right? For the next 2 weeks, my head's going to be down. I'm really going to be focused. Feel free to send funny memes my way. I may not be able to respond, but feel free to send me some funny memes. Paul's saying maybe get to clean up schedules that can at least be postponed to a later time. Let's say parties, outings, and such. Possibly getting to bring together the most possible time. Exactly. So looking at your entire schedule and saying, okay, this I'm going to put aside for now because I really got to focus on this sprint. Yeah. Great. And Clarissa is saying, set up a meal plan to reduce moments where you have to decide on other things. Yes. And Mary agrees with, I'm not sure, either Clarissa or Paul. Yeah, great. Okay, so those are some ways to help you with that feeling of not being enough, not doing enough, and then combining those with your motivation style. Okay, before we move on, any questions, comments? I just want to pause for a minute here. So we've talked about that motivation style. Oh, my face is, let me just move my face here. Where can I put myself? How about over here? We've talked about the motivational style. We've talked about some tips to help you, that awful feeling of not being enough, not doing enough. But any other questions before we continue? And if you need, we don't, it's a short time together, so we don't officially have a break, but if you need to stand up and take a stretch, you know, feel free. I'm going to share the link again. So before we go forward, please help grow our community. We have such an amazing global community. So please share that link if you know a couple people who you think could benefit. And if you'd like to see what other kind of workshops I deliver, my workshop calendar is there. And then also we've got the next roundtable is June 19th. It's the last roundtable before we break for 2 months. So we always take July and August off. So June 19th is all about learning and how it's your secret weapon for thriving in turbulent times. So that's June 19th. And I've put that link in the chat so you can find out more information. And then also, special announcement, I am fulfilling literally like a almost lifelong dream to start an online membership. So if you are interested in learning how to teach, it's called the Transformational Trainers Academy. Just putting it in the chat there. If you are interested, you want more information, just send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat and I will be happy. It's going to be launching next month. It will be an ongoing monthly paid membership. Okay, so any comments, questions before we continue? If you're ready to continue, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, you can see a couple of thumbs up there. Great. Okay, so let's talk about mapping your stressors. So this is a tool that I designed to really help you look at your overall health and wellness. It kind of imagine kind of zooming out. It gives you like a really big picture of where you're at overall with your stressors in your life, and how then you can go on to identify like what does that tell you, and then address your work-life integration. So let's take a step back and reflect, because you know, life can feel wildly off balance. So I'll just play you this short. Oh, we've got Asma coming in. I'll just play this short clip to kick us off with this tool. Okay, so is anyone feeling wildly off balance these days? Oops. Oh, I don't know if you could you see the emus? They're these big birds, and there's just like, you know, they're spending a lot of energy, right? There's a lot of energy just trying to stay standing, right? They're not trying to do anything else except they're expending a ton of energy to stay standing. Yes, tough times we are in and are ahead of us as Emmanuel. Oh, someone has to jump off. Oh, no worries. All of the resources, the deck will come to you at the bottom of this hour, and then all the resources will come to you probably on Monday. Yeah, for many people worldwide and the UN in particular, absolutely. It is a very, very, very hard time. Yeah, Lily, there's a lot of uncertainty, and we humans don't deal well with uncertainty at all. We tolerate risk better than we tolerate uncertainty, right? We tolerate risk better than we tolerate uncertainty. And we'll make poor decisions for ourselves just to get rid of that uncertainty, right? We don't know that we're doing that. Mary Jo, yes, those of us in the UN system with UN80 initiatives may also be anticipating being even more off balance very soon. Yeah. So those of you not in the UN system, UN80 was supposed to be a celebration of the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, and it's really turned into, I don't know, what, how would you say, restructuring, reorganizing, like massive, massive changes. So, given all of that, and I just, just know I feel for you all. I know how important the work is that you're doing and how desperately the world needs this work, right? Particularly now. So I'm just going to encourage you to take a step back and reflect. And here is a way that you can do that. So if anybody was on last month's call, this will look familiar to you. I don't usually repeat them back to back, but given the topic, I did this month. So this is a worksheet. Again, when you download it, it becomes editable. You don't need to ask me for permission to edit it. You just download it and then you can fill it in. And what you can do is it asks you to map 3 different things. So it asks you to map your stressors. Okay, so your stressors, those are things that are causing you a little bit of stress, but it's not overwhelming stress. It's not unhealthy stress, right? So you can add those to the worksheet. And again, this is a way to kind of help you step back and reflect on the bigger picture. Then there's a space on the worksheet to map your distress, right? And again, this is all private. You're not sharing this with anyone, but it's allowing you to do a customized map for yourself. And your distress, those are things that are causing you significant amounts of stress. And it could be affecting your well-being, could be affecting your health, it could be affecting your ability to get a good night's sleep. Maybe it's affecting your energy levels, it's affecting your motivation, how much you're exercising or not exercising, how much you're eating or not eating, things like that. So those are the distress. And then does anybody know what stress is? I didn't make that up. I love that word. It's such a funny word to say. But does anybody know what stress is? Okay, Lily says no. Any guesses? Oh, Emmanuel's saying I don't have access to the document. Oh, okay. Huh. Has anybody else been able to download the document? Yes, Katie, it's positive stress. Oh. Oh, okay. So people are having, okay. So sorry about that. Right after we end, I'll look at the permissions and see what's going on there. Yeah, so back to what Katie said. Stress is positive stress. So it's causing you a little bit of anxiousness, but in a good way. So an example might be maybe you got a promotion and you're kind of nervous about it, or you've got a new job, or you're going on a date, or your child or your nephew or someone is starting a new job and you're really excited for them, but you're also kind of nervous. So those are stresses. You're so welcome, Lily. And I apologize. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Oh, sorry, Diana, did you have a question? I can see you're unmuted. Oh, Diana? Okay, Diana, I'm going to mute you. I'm wondering if maybe by mistake there. Okay. Okay, so feel free to use that worksheet once you can get access to it. And it gives you kind of a global picture of how much stress do you have? Like you're excited, right? You're nervous, but you're excited. How much stress and how much distress? And that kind of points a direction to, particularly if you have a lot of things that are causing you distress, you may wish to look at some interventions, right? Might be seeing your doctor, getting some counseling, whatever works for you. And sometimes what works for you can be unusual things. So let me know in the, I'm just going to share a different screen here. What's your relationship with AI these days, folks? Let me know in the chat. How are you feeling about AI? Sorry, it's just taking me a second to share my screen here. Okay. Okay, so can you see, does it say coloring book hero? Let me know if you can see my screen. Still figuring it out, says Anna. Yeah. Lean, it helps a lot to reduce energy time invested in some tasks. And so I was using it, but learning, nice. Okay, well, there are all sorts of, let me just turn on my video. There's all sorts of really cool ways you can use AI, including to create coloring books. Now, some of you remember to stay in the driver's seat because some of you might be like, this is not my thing at all. But have you heard of these adult coloring books? So they're you can buy all of these coloring books. It's just a way, it's like sort of a repetitive motion. You're being artistic, you're doing something fun and relaxing. There's many of them available. And you can also make your own. So I am in ChatGPT right now. And I am in the coloring book hero. Now, as a Canadian, they've spelled coloring wrong because Canadians spell it with a U. But feel free to put a prompt here. So put a prompt of what you would like to create a coloring book about. So it could be, I'm only going to do it once because it takes some time to generate images, but it could be, a woman relaxing on the beach with her feet up and gentle waves on the ocean with the sunset, something like that. AI and me is love at first sight, right? That's not, yeah, I'm having a blast with it. So someone give me a prompt. So a prompt is what you tell AI to do for you. So I've given you an example in the meeting chat, but I'd love to use yours. So describe what you would like Coloring Book Hero to make for you. Or if you want me to use mine, I can do that too. But ideally, oh, Ansoise, do you want me to use mine? Okay, I think that's maybe what that thumbs up means. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. And again, it usually takes a while. So, oops, I put gentle waves. Let's add some more. There are palm trees and she's in a hammock and there is a feast waiting to be eaten. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Sorry, Emmanuel, I just saw yours. An adolescent having a perfect work-life balance. Nice. Okay. Okay. So it takes a while to generate images. So we'll leave it generating here. But while it's doing that, and if it's taking too long, we can always come back to it. Any questions, comments, resources you want to add to our conversation? So we've gone through, actually, I'm going to stop sharing just for a moment and I'll bring us back to the deck because I want to make sure that your time is being well used here. I'll go back to it, don't worry. But let's, okay. So we have gone through this myth of work-life balance, right? And that idea of the pen You know, it's not, I mean, it's technically it's balanced, but it's very precarious. You know, someone just needs to, you know, knock my arm and that balance would be off. So we really want to think about integration and doing what really works well for you and fits you. Eliza's saying, I've started to try to reframe how I think of using AI as asking for help from tech rather than cheating with tech. Oh, I love that. That's great. Yeah, there is, so as a member, you get access to all 12 years of the roundtables. And I'll put I did a workshop on AI or a roundtable on AI. I'll add it to the workbook so you can look at that if you're interested. And this, just on the topic of AI, this book here, Brave New Words, How AI Will Revolutionize Education and Why That's a Good Thing. This is by Sal Khan, the guy who started the Khan Academy. It's an excellent book. So good. Emmanuel saying AI has pros and cons when it comes to our work-life balance. Pros, it can save a lot of time and increase quality. Cons, it helps everyone produce even more products, reports, etc., and gives more things for everyone to read, acknowledge. Not speaking about the impact on the environment and climate change. Yes, yeah, absolutely. It is a mixed bag for sure. Okay, so we talked about that myth, right? And that pledge and really trying to do what works for us and talking about integration versus balance. And then I shared with you that tool of motivation. So the idea, if you can work with what motivates you instead of against it, then everything gets easier, right? And your strengths can show up more and etc. And then that notion of keeping up and really trying to zoom out and look at how are you spending your time? Can you catch the ripple to avoid the wave, etc.? And then that mapping your stressors. So do you, of these skills here, of these things, which of these things do you feel strongest in? You're like, I got that. And I'm just gonna check and see if our image is, nice, okay. I'll bring us back in a second to the image. It did generate an image. And let me know too, actually, let me just take back that question. Would you like a few minutes to spend in small groups talking about these things that you've learned and what you're going to do with your learning? So let me know. Would you like a few minutes in small groups to talk about how you're going to apply your learning? I know that small groups are, some people love them, other people are like, oh, please no, please no. So let me know. What do you think? Oops. Oh, okay, Emmanuel. Okay. Yep, so Emmanuel wants to stay in large group. Nope. Okay. I know small groups evoke strong reactions. Okay. So we've got 2 no's. So no to small group, yes to large group. Okay. Then here are some of, so Anne saying in future, I think small chats work well if we do something very early and get used to it. Yeah. Okay. Eliza saying not really. I like the little eyeball there. Okay. No worries. We will stay in large group. I am here to serve you. So here are some discussion questions. So of the skills, of the content that we've covered, what do you think you're strongest in? And what needs more work? And do you have any questions for me? And how will you use your learning? So I'm most keen to know, how are you going to apply what you've learned? And while you're thinking about that, I'll just take us back to the coloring book here. Now, keep in mind, one of the downsides that of AI is the bias. So you'll see here, here is our coloring book that got generated. And this person looks pretty, how do we say, white, North American, European, there's not a lot of diversity here. But you could print this off and have this as a little coloring thing, right? I'll put this in the workbook that you'll get. But let me bring us back to the chat here. Okay. So what do you think, folks? So how are you going to use your learning? Because hopefully you have learned something that you can apply. So, oops. So let me know, Clarissa, Diana, Eliza, Emmanuel, Ilias, Emmanuel. I like the MIT acronym. Good reminder. Yeah, you could do get AI to generate a fun prompt for you, like a nice picture of MIT, and then have that as your screensaver or have it pop up as a reminder. Yeah, it's really simple, right? It's really
Leanne,
simple.
if I may.
Hi, Emmanuel.
Yeah, hi. So maybe something else, like an image to share with everybody as well. Like you spoke, it has a name, this table with the important and urgent and less urgent, less important table. I can't remember the name anyway. But my sister-in-law gave me one day a very powerful image that worked very well for me, and I remember that, which is, let's imagine you have a vase and you have in front of you some sand and some small stones and some big stones. And it's very easy to fill up the vase with all the sand that you have. And once you fill the vase with sand, then you have no space anymore for the small stone and the big stone. And what is important is like start filling the vase with the big stones, which are the important things you need to do in your day. And then you'll fill up with the little stones. And then at the end, there will be always some space to put some sand around there. But if you start filling some sand in the vase, there is no chance you're gonna fit one stone in the vase when the vase is full of sand. And I think for me, if I keep going at my little emails and everything, there is always new emails coming in, and I won't have the time for the report, for the important meetings, for the exercise and taking care of myself. But once I've taken care of myself, then I will always have time to do a couple of emails, and it's good enough. It's okay if I don't do all the emails in a day.
I love that, Emmanuel. And in fact, there's a great, I think there's several videos about that very thing. So I'll look for a video and I'll put it in the workbook. And I love, 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 love what you said about the email. I want to bring us back. So this is a change that I have made recently in my workday. So I'm very achievement oriented. So I love, I have all these goals. I know I've broken them down for the year, for the month, for the week, for the day, check, cross. And what I noticed was the sense of achievement was overtaking how important that task was or how much value that task was. So now I actually don't check, well, I check my email, but I don't respond to it really till the end of the day. I'm playing around with that so that I get my big, chunky, important things done at the beginning of the day. And it has made a huge difference, huge difference. Okay, I just want to go back here. So Emmanuel, thank you for sharing. I'll look for that video and put it in the workbook. I'll put the coloring book thing, and I recognize some of you, that will be the last thing you want to do. And if it sparks some creativity and some relaxation for folks, I'll put our image in the workbook. I'll add the AI roundtable because it seems like there's some interest in that. And I'll also check that access to the bucket. Okay, Clarissa's saying, I like the idea of assigning a chair a place for deep thinking. Yeah, and that notion of if you're really needing to be innovative and creative, the higher the ceiling, and I know it sounds bizarre, but the higher the ceiling, the more creative people tended to be. Elias is saying, I lost the explanation of sprint. Absolutely. Okay, let me bring, where's sprint here? So a sprint is when so By the way, some of you might get assigned sprints, like you don't have any choice, and others might have more control over them. So a sprint is when you know you have to work extra hard, extra long hours. And I've had lots of people say to me, Leanne, that's the state of the world of work these days. But if you know that some big deadlines coming up, member states, there's some, General Assembly, there's something big, there's a big report due, or, something. The idea of the sprint is to tell your brain, this is a time-bound period. Like I know for the next 2 weeks or the next month or, the next whatever, that my days are going to be very long. And the idea is to try to prepare for that. And that preparation will look different depending on your context. So for some, it might mean getting extra childcare. For some, it might mean telling your friends, I am not going to be available for the next 2 weeks. For some, it might mean getting all the meals for the week sorted out ahead of time. So Ilias, let me know if that makes sense. Eliza's saying, I like the idea of preparing for sprints as opposed to my usual technique of falling headfirst into sprints with little preparation and then wondering why I'm not coping well. Yeah, and Eliza, maybe look at it as an experiment. Like, could you schedule a insert treat? Like, could you schedule a massage? At the end of the sprint, or could you schedule a really nice dinner with your best friend? Like whatever, look at the things that will help motivate you. And again, you can go back to those motivation styles to help you with some inspiration for that. Okay, great. Okay, so this is almost unheard of. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, but let's go back here. Hang on here. So any last minute questions before we summarize for the day or the afternoon or the evening, wherever this finds you in the world? So any last questions, and then we'll close for the day, for our time together. So these are all the things that we did. So hopefully that we're going to put that elusive myth to bed. I'll show you in a minute how you can access some of the research that I use for this. We talked about that motivation tool and that keeping up, getting rid of that awful feeling of not being good enough, doing enough. We talked about the buckets. And then you now have access to 12 plus years of roundtables, and you can count this towards your UN professional development. Takashi's saying, it's my real life these days. I look at that. Hey. Oh, okay. That is for people who are listening to this video later, there's a very poignant coloring book image that Takashi has generated. Thank you. You're welcome, Asma. Okay, so unless there's any other questions, if I could ask you to help me. So please share the link. I love growing our community. I'm so passionate about learning and development. So please share the link with anyone you think might be interested in joining our community. It's free. Thanks, Anselas. I really appreciate that. If you're a UN staff and you want to get this to count towards your professional development, there's a Google Sheet there to sign. So please make sure that you've done that. And then also our next roundtable is June the 19th. And it's all about how learning is your secret weapon in these turbulent times. So I put those links in the chat. If your future self is watching this, everything will be down below in the video. And the June meeting is our last meeting until for a couple months, because we always take July and August off. So don't miss June. Also, you will get access to this video, and it's time-stamped. So if you want to skip ahead to a particular part, you'll be able to do that. You're going to get a workbook that has all of the resources in it, etc. You'll also get a copy of the audio recording too. So let me know in the chat. I've got a couple of other resources to share, but first of all, what's your key takeaway? Oh, thanks, Answaz. So what is your key takeaway? Let me know in the chat. The most important task. Yeah, it's so simple, right? The MIT. If you happen to, if you've joined the LinkedIn group or the Facebook group, if you feel like it, use AI to make an image to remind you of your most important task, and then feel free to share that image if you want. Oh, Ilias, life is a balance of holding on and letting go, right? Yeah, absolutely. And so as use resources and be gentler on yourself. Yeah, especially in our times today. Yeah, I really feel for everyone. There's so much conflict right now, and things are really upside down. Okay, and then what's one thing that you're going to do with your learning? Let me know that. And as you're thinking about that, every roundtable, so I love tech tools, and I always create a Diigo link. So Diigo is a social bookmarking site, and I have tagged all the resources that I've used around work-life balance. So if you click on that link that's in the chat, if you're watching this in real time, or it's down below, if future you is watching this, you can get instant access to a bunch of resources. So feel free to take a look at that. As well as implement and share. Yay! Nice. Great. Anything else? What are you going to do with your learning? Because I really want to take care of future you. I love, love, love that you showed up, and I really hope that this makes a difference for you. So anything else that you're going to do with your learning? As you're thinking about that, if you are a UN staff person, once again, I'm teaching a public speaking workshop. It's 2 days on June the 18th. What is it? June 18th and June 19th. So just contact UN HR Learning if you want more information. There is a cost for that workshop, but you can contact them. Okay, and then unless there's any other questions, please, you are always welcome to reach out to me if you want to talk about my doing a workshop for your team. I've shared my catalog again there. And just know I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your attention to work-life balance and integration, because the world needs your good work more than ever. Hi, Orc. I'm new here and I'm so late. Oh, hope next time I get it right from the start. I'd love to learn more here. Oh, I love that you joined when you could. And no worries. Our next, so in 7 minutes at the bottom of the hour, you'll get a copy. Everyone will get a copy of the PowerPoint deck. And early next week, the workbook will come with the recordings and the all of the resources. So yeah, Orc, thanks so much for showing up. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate it. Thanks, Orc. Okay, then please, if everybody can unmute, and we'll just take a moment to connect with each other and say goodbye. Thank you, Ivan Lida. Thanks, Orc, Judy. So everybody unmute.
Thank you.
Unmute.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
on
you.
the count of 3, say thank you, goodbye, whatever you wish in whatever language you wish. 1, 2, 3, go.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, and I hope to see you next month.
Bye. Bye.